I would like to make it clear to anyone still watching that the video you are about to watch is indeed 1.5 years old. I actually wanted to post this on Mother's Day like 2 weeks ago, but I was busy entertaining my mother. My mom's one of those moms that's like, how dare you even think about doing anything other than entertaining me and paying attention to me on Mother's Day or any of the days surrounding Mother's Day. I also would like to make it clear to anyone watching that I'm not wearing some sort of Republican American fish shirt. This is an American mermaid shirt my mother actually got for me. It just looks kind of sketchy a little bit out of frame. Yeah, if you watched the last vlog, you will know that the last 2 videos have been kind of from the vault, so to speak. These were filmed at the tail end of 2024. These were actually the last couple YouTube videos I filmed other than the ones that I actually posted last year. I think I did a book wrap up. I had a Lana video that I had filmed about a year before that I uploaded in like July, I think it was. And then I did a Life of a Showgirl reaction, which was in October of 2025. And that was like all I posted in 2025. If you have not seen my last video, I was very ill for most of 2025. This entire vlog was a time capsule. We are doing much better now. I do have a couple sit down videos that are old that I want to edit and upload at some point, but the next video I post will be one that I'm filming in like 2 days, which will be my Sabrina Carpenter Man's Best Friend reaction. Look, when you've been through what I've been through, it takes a second to get your life back together. But as you're about to probably tell from this vlog, I am doing a lot better than I was a year and a half ago. I make a reference to a boyfriend in one of these clips that I had to kind of like edit since he is no longer with us. He's alive. He's just dead to me. Yeah, you will see a clip of me crying when Donald Trump got reelected. That's how old this is. And the beginning of the tumultuousness that was 2025 is seen kind of towards the end of this video, but we persist, you know? But I read some good books, albeit emotionally exhausting, thanks to my mom's picks. So I figured why not keep that here for the memories, share those books with you. And yeah, after this, I just want to get back to the regularly scheduled programming. So hope you enjoy. Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I like to post about books and music, mostly Taylor Swift. So today I'm going to be doing another reading vlog. We're starting it off by having my mom pick the books I will be reading this week.
Oh, the spicy
We season our food. We want people to know that.
What are we eating today?
We already ate. Oh, here's my mom's current read. She wanted to share it with you. Do you want to tell us about your... My mom is literate again. She hasn't read a book in a couple years.
Thanks. I just started reading it. Людмила Gurchenko, Аплодисменты. Can't tell much about it yet.
How far are you in?
Beginning of the war.
Maybe like 5%. The beginning of the war.
Yes.
Is the whole book just the war?
I don't know.
I don't know. So I have this stack of books for her to pick from. I tried to pick some books I feel like would pique her interest. When I told her about that, she was like, who's going to be reading them, me or you? Okay, so I have 9 books here for you to pick from. You're going to pick 3, then I'm going to read and rate them, and you're going to guess what I rated them at the end after I have read them. So today you're just going to pick 3 out of these 9. You could look through them, read the backs, ask me any questions you might want to.
Robin Williams. Is this about depression? Maybe.
Do you recognize the title?
Dead Poets Society.
You're not going to read the back, you're not going to ask any questions.
That's Taylor Swift ex-boyfriend's Dead Poets Society.
Maddie Healy.
No, other one. British.
Joe Alwyn.
Wasn't he in some kind of...
The Tortured Man Club.
Oh, okay. Dead Poets Society sounds the same.
Have you watched that movie?
Uh-oh. I don't think so. She's diabetic. I am interested in this. This is psychotic. This is about anorexia.
My mom likes some
Psychotic stuff. Isn't
She
it?
likes mental health type books.
Yes.
So Skin is a yes, maybe.
Number 1.
Number 1, she has picked Skin by
Perfect.
Adrian Maria Bretos.
Passion turns into obsession. Passion for what?
What is that one called?
1,000 Perfect Notes. Maybe. It's about music and obsession. I will die in a foreign land. Why?
Why? Hold on. So these are all books that were like on my Goodreads TBR, and I kind of was looking through for like different genres that I feel like my mom likes. So like mental health sort of ones, thrillers.
Yeah, definitely. This is about Ukraine in 2014, isn't it?
Ukraine, the motherland.
The motherland. And Russia was biting off piece by piece. Yeah. Second glance.
So even if I don't read the books in this video, like ones that she hasn't selected, they are on my TBR. I will get to them probably after I read the ones she's selected.
Fiction, isn't it?
I wrote mystery drama for the genre.
Mystery. No.
No.
Girl saves the world in this one. Well, that's fiction too.
Well, I mean, those mental health ones are fiction as well, but they're just...
Yeah, but it's mental health. Survive. No.
You're not gonna ask what it's about?
Cinderella is dead. Well, that's unfortunate.
That is a fantasy retelling. Cinderella, but with a twist. Are you not gonna ask any questions, the ones you're throwing to the no pile?
No, I just don't put...
You're judging it by its cover? So we're going just by covers. She doesn't like to read the back.
Cover and name.
And the title and the cover.
Night Sister Jennifer McNair.
Spooky season.
Now the mystery. Yeah, good for October, I guess. Too heavy.
You don't want me reading a giant hardcover, dropping it on my face?
The last thing he told me. It's about relationship of some kind. Love and family is the foundation of a beautiful, constructed mystery filled with twists and turns you must read. None of this. So, number one, I will die in a foreign land.
Show the camera.
Number one.
Is that what I'm gonna read first? I'm gonna pick the order.
Two, I would rate highest. This and this. 1,000 Perfect Notes is the last one. Easy.
Okay, so I'm gonna read in what order? Do I start with I Will Die in a Foreign Land? Okay, start with this, and then Skin, and then 1,000 Perfect Notes. I feel like I could have predicted this. I did try to put in some thrillers. Do you like thrillers? Those like crazy, spooky
movies, but reading big book about fiction. No.
Big book about.
Oh, this may be like number 4.
You're gonna pick a 4th one. Well, you have to narrow it down to 3.
Well,
mental health, war.
Yes, but war is number 1. It interests me.
So, is your favorite genre books about mental health?
Yes, and it's about life in Ukraine.
You don't already know about
mental health over there too. Good luck. I'm going back to my read.
Thank you. Okay, so these are the 3 books I will be working on this week, and we're gonna start later tonight or tomorrow. I have to finish my current read, my Ukrainian folk tales.
Fan on, please.
Yes, I'll turn the fan on for you. Happy reading, Mom. Okay, it is now about 2 weeks later. I am finally starting the first book in this vlog, I Will Die in a Foreign Land. It's been an incredibly rough 2 weeks. The last part of October has been insane. I got a double ear infection, and then this girl got very, very sick. And because she's 16, I was terrified. I was crying. I was traumatized up until we were able to get her a vet appointment. It was basically just an upset stomach and a UTI. But on the blood work, we did find out she has hyperthyroidism. So she'll be on meds the rest of her life. Luckily, it's not difficult to give them to her. You just like mix it up into a treat and she just gobbles it down. So we're doing good after that, but we were doing very rough for a while. My ear was so sore. I was in so much pain, but I went to the doctor as well. Got drops, and now we're both healed. But I really wish we didn't have to go through that. Anyways, here we are with I Will Die in a Foreign Land. Rest assured, though, I have been kind of reading while going through the last few very traumatic weeks. And then next week, we find out if American democracy falls. Yeah. This cat watched the election of the first Black president, and now she's about to potentially watch the fall of American democracy. So many lives you have lived, princess. That's why they say cats have 9 lives. But yes, I have been reading a little bit. I finished that Ukrainian folklore book I talked about a little in the intro. That one, I wouldn't say it put me into a slump. I thought the book was really good. It's just like with short stories, it's hard to get super invested. Also, while dealing with like general trauma, it's hard to just lose yourself in a book, especially when it's just a bunch of short stories and not one definite plot to get lost into. Hi. Hi! I also started a reread of this book, which was one of my favorite books of 2022. I'm reading it to my man-child because it's just such a good book about Ukraine, especially for people who have never been, because it's like telling the story through the eyes of a culture-shocked American. Highly, highly recommend. It's an indie published novel, memoir, but yeah, lots of Ukrainian stuff. And we are moving right into I Will Die in a Foreign Land. I looked this up on TikTok just to see what other people have said about it. Someone said it made them cry and they read it in only one day. So I have high hopes. It's quite small. I don't think it'll take me that long. But from my understanding, this follows 4 different characters during the Euromaidan protest. I think we have one person who is an activist. We have a doctor or a nurse who I think is working in one of the medical tents. Someone who is living in Kyiv ever since his wife passed of radiation poisoning from Chernobyl. And I forgot who the 4th character is. I'm excited to get started on this. So let's cry over things that are not related to our real lives. Shall we? Yeah. So I have a small update for you guys. Gosh, my hair is crazy today. It's fine, whatever. It's so dreary in the Pacific Northwest right now. I'm like, I just want to curl up with like hot tea and a book, you know? But this book is really interesting because it feels really abstract. Like each chapter is kind of telling about these 4 people and they all kind of intersect all of their storylines. But we've also got things like these little folk songs interspersed, or like an audio cassette recording and someone kind of telling their story outside of the main narrative. And also the time, my cat hears me talking, so she thinks I'm talking to her. The timeline also jumps around. Like this is in January of 2014. Wow. And I noticed that at one point we were on January 20th or something, and then we went to like January 18th, and then we jumped back to like the 20th or the 22nd. So it's definitely an abstract kind of story, and it's a little bit out of order. I'm only 62 pages in out of a nearly 300-page book, so I haven't gotten too attached to the characters. It feels a little bit disjointed right now, but I think this is one of those books that like once you get closer to the end, everything's gonna kind of come together. You'll understand the fragmented parts better. But yeah, we're getting through it. We are now on a part about the Boryspil airport, which I have been in before. So it's also sad reading about the Donetsk airport because I was there 2 years before Russia came. Princess and I are vibing. Oh my gosh, this is where I put her thyroid meds mixed up with treats. She's looking at clean. You're such a good kitty taking all your medication. Yeah, such a good kitty taking all your medication. So talkative. Oh, hi. Hi, Princess. Oh my god, why are my under eyes so red? I actually think it might be the lash serum I'm using. But we are gonna grab some dinner. It's like almost 5 p.m. I'm gonna feed my cat along with myself. And I hope to read more tonight after editing a video that is long overdue. But since this one got sick, it kind of got put on pause. Okay, excuse this horrid angle, but it is like 1:30 a.m. Princess and I are reading. I forgot to do some updates, but I am still on I Will Die in a Foreign Land. There are like LGBTQ characters in this, which is really exciting. There's these 2 girls, and that's the storyline I'm really liking right now. It like switches POVs. It's very fast paced and it switches often, so you're never like, I want to get back to these characters that I care more about, like for long. Things kind of interconnect and none of it drags, but yeah, there's definitely a storyline that I'm more interested in. Basically, it's like this journalist and then this activist. They're kind of like in the same place for most of it. They're together. It's like sweet and beautiful and awful and like metaphoric. The activist, Slava, she has blue hair, and her like girlfriend, Dasha, wants to dye her hair a crazy color like hers, and so Slava helps her dye her hair pink. And there's this bad day at Maidan when she wakes up and Dasha is gone, and she can't get a hold of her, and it's like terrifying for Slava. And she looks over at the pillow that Dasha was sleeping on, and it's like stained pink, and it looks like blood, and like kind of like a foreshadowing. And like, I got so panicked after reading that. I was like, oh my god, I have to find out what happens to her. This is a no spoiler vlog though, so I'm not gonna say exactly what's going on. But yeah, the use of language and like imagery is really interesting. Something else I want to talk about is when Yanukovych flees to Russia to seek asylum, the corrupt president of Ukraine who like doesn't abide by the people's wishes. That's why the whole protests at Maidan happened in 2014. If you don't know the history and backstory, let me just read you this passage. President Yanukovych flees Ukraine to seek asylum in Russia. Our constitution is restored. We begin to pack the tents. We begin to remove the barricades. We lie sleepless in our beds. No, my friend, it's not over. You will see. Jesus Christ. Knowing what happens later, I mean, this was written in, I believe, 2022 or 2023, so it is kind of like foreshadowing a real event. Also, I have to read this little, there's a lot more about Chernobyl in here than I thought there would be. I mean, I guess if you're kind of looking at it in context of like the USSR falling apart and how Ukraine has been pushing for independence completely from Russia since then, I mean, looking back, it's like Chernobyl was probably the beginning of the end for the entire shit show that was the USSR. This is weird. Okay, I'm just gonna read you the whole like 3 paragraphs. The exclusion zone encircles the land around Chernobyl. This is where reactor 4 burned for 10 days, where Vera's father died instantly, where thousands of people were evacuated from their homes in 1986. The area is approximately 1,000 square miles or 2,600 square kilometers. 5,000 employees still arrive in Chernobyl, working 15 days in, 15 days out to keep the radiation in their bodies leveled. Tourists stay in Soviet-style hotels nearby, getting tours of the power plant from guides. That is such a wild thing to the locals. Like when I was in Kyiv and like talking to one of my mom's friends, it's like a weird ass thing. Like these people from like the US come and like want to be exposed to radiation and they think they're insane. On one of these tours, a man asks the guide to take the group to the most contaminated spot. Of course. He kneels, offers a ring, she covers her mouth. She cries and embraces him. The witnesses clap, whoop, and smile. Life, they say, goes on. That's fucking weird. I don't know how to feel about that. What a weird thing to propose where, like, people died, like, violently. That's weird. It's fucking weird. Why is this place treated so differently than, like, any other horrible historical site? I don't know, or maybe there are stories of people doing horrible, disrespectful things in other places like this. And as we're getting past the halfway point, it's talking about Chernobyl more and more. I'm really wondering where they're going with this, because so many of these characters, I mean, so many Ukrainians in general were affected by Chernobyl and still are to this day. So I'm wondering what it might be hinting at, or maybe it's not hinting at anything at all. Sometimes this book does that as well. Like, you feel like it's leading you to believe something, and then what you think is going to happen doesn't happen. Like, you're picking out the wrong pieces of foreshadowing. May Day, 1986. We evacuated our homes holding bundles. Our men collapsed like horses. It is not the first time. On May Day in Kyiv, there is still a parade. Women smile, flowers in their hair, ribbons and posters, raised arms, everywhere linen. We watch it on television while rubbing the backs of our children as they vomit paste into a bucket. Our husbands shoveled the reactive waste, their skin blackened, faces puffed. The cracked skin, pink flesh peeling like split fruit. Tastes like metal, our children say while treated for cancers. Some of the old ones return home, tending familiar soil, eating mushrooms, canning jams. They live for decades, they flourish. What's so bad about it? The old ones ask. Water is just as fresh, berries just as sweet. We, those who have moved away, in anguish say, not even the famine killed us, not even the war. And oh, now we will die alone, in a foreign land. I hate it. I mean, I love it, but I hate it. Why did my mom pick this? She's twisted. My cat is being so cuddly. Hi, princess. Yeah. But yeah, that's a thing that it's talking about. It makes me wonder, like, all those older people who went back and didn't feel any effects of it, is it more likely to affect younger people, like radiation itself? Is it because, like, old people's metabolisms are so slow or something? Or, like, do they just not live long enough to see the effects of it? But it's been the same amount of time for those children and parents as it was for, like, the grandparents. The old ones went back and they're like, I don't see what the problem is. Everything's just as good as it always was. But meanwhile, their grandchildren are, like, in Kyiv receiving cancer treatments. Anyway, this is just as depressing as I expected it to be. Thank you so much, Allah, for the recommendation. Jesus Christ. Okay, gosh, my face is so red. I've been crying the last couple days because Donald Trump just got reelected. Don't want to talk about that too much, but I did finish I Will Die in a Foreign Land a couple of days ago. I am conflicted. I think this book has a lot of amazing things going for it. The lyricism, how evocative it is. I think there are a lot of just really great quotes that encapsulate what was happening at the time, how people were feeling. However, it is a little bit disjointed. I find myself, even towards the end, just kind of confused at how many main characters there are, how much like POV switching there is. It wasn't the strongest narrative, which I was really hoping for. I didn't feel super connected to the characters. I think there was a little bit lacking in terms of the dialogue. But as far as capturing what was going on at Maidan from a poetic standpoint, this book did it. Like, I think people will feel a lot of things while reading this. However, if you're looking for like a narrative being connected to characters who are going through this, really like crying at an individual circumstances while experiencing this, it just wasn't as much. I think it was focusing a lot more on the bigger picture, and I think that can be executed really well, but I just didn't care as much about the individual characters, which is really sad because I found myself feeling like it had a lot of potential, especially at the beginning with Slava and the girl she became interested in. By the time their story wrapped up, I just didn't feel anything about it, and I felt like as this author was setting it up, I thought it really would take me on an emotional journey, her experience at least, but the emotional journey I went on was 100% just because of these historical events presented in this book. I can't remember if I said this already or not, but I was really surprised by how much Chernobyl is mentioned in this, but like looking back now that I've read the full book, it makes a lot of sense when she's putting in this historical context. You know, that was another horrible event that happened in Ukraine's history purely because of an occupying government's carelessness. It wasn't even because of like Ukrainian government's carelessness, you know what I mean? It was because of Russia, really. I mean, it might have still happened even if Ukraine was independent at that point, but like it was the beginning of the end for the USSR. So that's kind of how we got to 2014 and then 2022. All these things are very interconnected. I liked that this book really focused on that historical narrative, but yeah, it didn't focus as much on the individual characters' narratives. And that's very much like a personal preference. I still think this was a really good book, and I feel bad about rating it lowly. I'm between like a 3 and 4. I think I'm going with 3 just because like personal preference. If I want to rate it like subjectively, I still would recommend this book, and I could see why someone would find it 4 or maybe even 5 stars if they do get invested in the characters. But for me, it was a little bit disjointed. So now I'm going to go ask my mom if she can guess what I rated this book. I'm talking quietly because she's like waiting outside my door. So yeah, we're gonna see what she thinks. She probably even forgot what she suggested that I read, so she might have to read the back of this again, but we're gonna go find her now. Okay, here, Mom, here's the book I read, if you can remember it. And you're supposed to tell me what you think I rated this book. I just finished it like a couple days ago.
What's my choices from 1 to 5?
Yeah, 1 to 5. 1 through 5 stars. You can like
look at the 4 and
you can look at the synopsis again if you need to jog your memory.
So you rated this from a 1 to 5.
You have to guess what I rated it.
1.
1 star? You think it was that bad?
Oh,
What you think?
No, I mean 5.
1 star. Oh, you pick 5?
5. Yes, I think 5.
I gave it 3 stars. It was very average. It was just kind of disjointed. Like, it had all these different characters who were experiencing Maidan. One of them is like a former KGB agent. Another is a Femin protester, actually. Remember that documentary you made me watch? Femin? Come on, you remember this. It was like a year ago. Those like feminist protesters in Ukraine, Kyiv specifically.
What was their names? Yeah.
Femin. Femen. And then they like fled to Paris, and there was that weird scandal where like a man was pulling strings or whatever. So it was like her, and there was like a woman who's a Ukrainian American doctor who was working on people in Maidan. She was from Boston. And there was a guy whose wife had recently passed of like Chernobyl issues. She had like thyroid problems, and he was working as a miner in Donetsk, and they're all kind of interconnected. But I think the issue I had was like, there's a lot of good quotes in this. Like, I read you some of the quotes, and it was like emotional and poetic, but like the narrative was just, I didn't care about the characters, and I feel like I should have.
Was it translated from Ukrainian?
No, this is English originally. Yeah, I don't know. It just didn't have much of an emotional.
Is there a translated version I can read?
I'll find one for you. That'd be cool. You read it too, and then you tell me.
Well, if it was originally written in English.
There's a lot of historical context. It's interspersed with like.
So who was
articles.
the writer? Was it just journalists who interviewed
This person,
them?
I'm actually not. Oh no, it's fiction. She created the characters, but the event is real. Obviously, Maidan in 2014. And there's a lot of foreshadowing to the war because I think it was written in 2023, so she knows what happens later. But it is sad to see that she had like a section where she put the different phrases that were written on signs at Maidan, people holding signs, and one of them was like, "We do not want war." Now here we are in 2022. Yeah, I think it could have been really good, but it was just fine. I was between 4 and 3. I almost gave it 4 just because I felt like there was some good emotional pieces in it, and like connecting the historical events, like how Chernobyl kind of led to like the fall of the USSR, and like why Russia is mad, and like this whole occupying government. Also, there was somebody who was captured by Russia who was doing hunger strikes. Those characters are real. Oleg Sentsov. A mix of fact and fiction. I just wish the fiction was a little stronger. I didn't care about those characters much. Definitely some good pieces about what happened. It would have been better if it was non-fiction, I think. Like actually find people who lived it.
That's what I actually thought when I saw
Oh, you thought this was non-fiction? I think it would have been stronger if she found people who lived it and interviewed them and then created her own narrative around that. But did you see that quote in the, have you read any of the synopsis? Let me find it for you. Here it is. Have you read that? Who can make the entire world go mad but a Russian?
Yeah, because they're mad themselves.
Yes. Yes. Well, that's my rating. 3 stars. You thought it was 5. I'm sorry to say it was 3. Still a book I would recommend to people.
Okay.
So I have just started book number 2. We are now on Skin, and this is the first thing I see when opening it. Oh, look at Princess. But number 1. Wow. What an opening. Okay, so I'm about 80 pages into Skin. Man, it makes sense why these kids are so messed up mentally, because like their parents, it's not just that they're like separating. They like have to play therapist for their parents, like especially the mom, because the dad keeps running off. He has a job somewhere really far away, and so his company, I guess, gave him an apartment to stay in when it's like he gets off too late to drive home. And like the mom's always breaking down, and Karen, the older sister, is like, "God, Mom, I'm so sorry." Like every time they have a fight, she's the one apologizing and like trying to emotionally regulate her mother. So like, of course, the only thing she's gonna feel like she has control over is food. And then Donnie, the 14-year-old little brother, he wants his parents to make up so bad, and like Karen's so done with it, she doesn't care. And every time Donnie tries to make the peace, Karen is like bitter about it, and she thinks it can't be helped, and she's like smug every time they fight again after Donnie like fixes things, but he shouldn't be fixing things, he's a child. And like Donnie wants to feel like a hero of his parents' marriage and like his family, and the fights they pick are so ridiculous. Like Donnie's dad didn't have parents growing up. They passed away, so he was raised by his grandmother, and he like doesn't know how to parent. And Karen's like, you just need to try and like not try to expect our family to look like what you see on TV, because that's the only example you had. It's interesting, it's very simple, and it's not much like actual ED type content. It's like parents fighting and like family dynamics more than anything, which surprises me. Also, a teacher literally commented on Karen's body, and that like sent her into a spiral. And every time her parents like make up, even though she's like kind of bitter about it and thinks it's gonna go bad again, that's when she actually starts eating, and then that makes her parents happier, and it's kind of like an upward spiral until something like throws a wrench in it. But yeah, teacher commenting on her fucking body. I mean, this book was written in 2006, so like I kind of get it, but like, oh my god, that is so inappropriate. And she said a positive thing, kind of. She said like they were all getting fitted for gym uniforms, and she was like, if you're lucky like Karen, you might be curvy and be able to size up. And Karen interpreted that as her calling her fat because it's 2006. Like, even if you're saying a good thing about a student's body, you should not say anything. Like, it should be completely neutral language or like nothing at all. Oh my god. These adults, honestly, the children, Donnie and Karen, are more emotionally mature than the freaking adults. I mean, Donnie is crazy for the rumor he started about Karen's best friend just for like clout, essentially. But for a second there, I was like, oh, that's cute. He has a crush on his sister's best friend. Like, it seemed completely harmless. But the kids are definitely not perfect characters either. Like I said previously, it's just they're kids, so it's more forgivable. They're sending Karen to an inpatient treatment facility, and her mom says, you're gonna get yourself out of whatever this phase it is that you're in. Phase? Like, look, I think it's good that they're like not ignoring the problem while these fights are happening between the parents, but like phase, I feel like that's not a good thing to call it. And I don't know how I would act. I don't know what the appropriate behavior would be if your child is dealing with this, but calling it a phase? I don't know, man. No spoilers, but this is so fucked up. This is dark. I'm like afraid I'm gonna get like emotional, like more emotional than I got when reading If I Die in a Foreign Land. What is this author's name? Adrian Maria Vretos. You are sick and twisted. I feel so bad for the best friend, Amanda, but like you can't help someone who doesn't want to be helped. This is stressing me out. Why do I always use this reading light? Reading light. It's literally a headlamp. Why do I always end up using this reading light during the most emotional reads? I literally cried about Hedwig while reading Harry Potter for the first time while wearing this. But like genuinely, what the fuck is this book? I can't believe this is young adult. I cried on it. I cried on the damn thing. Princess, what are you even looking at? The update is I'm getting so sick of this shit. Ugh, what the hell? We are on page 210. I think we only have like 15 to 20 pages left. Sick and twisted, let me tell you. Okay, so it's like the middle of the night now, but I have finished Skin. Oh my god. When you start reading this, it definitely feels very YA, like a very simple kind of storytelling. This was some heavy shit. Reminded me a little bit of Perks of Being a Wallflower, like the little brother and then the like troubled family, troubled older sister, and his own struggles, and like how he's a wallflower and he kind of just absorbs everything that's happening and doesn't have his own story to tell. I can't even remember the main character's name. Donnie, it says Donnie on the back. All I really remember is his sister's name and like all of the stuff going on with her, and if that doesn't represent this story, I don't know what does. The simple to the point narrative like just gets so emotional towards the end. Like these characters all feel so real, like all of them, and even the dialogue was so realistic. Like I was seeing these characters talking to each other like a movie in my head. This felt like how actual teenagers speak. Even the best friend Amanda, like she moved away at some point in this and like she still felt so real, and like they took the time to develop her, and I really sympathize with her because like man, she tried, but when someone doesn't want help, there's not much you can do, especially when you're only 16 and you've moved so far away from your best friend who you're trying to help. And lastly, the parents, man, they pissed me off. They are a perfect example of people who really need to just like go to therapy and break generational curses before even thinking about having children. Like being parented by your child is fucking embarrassing. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with this book, more impressed than I thought I was going to be, and I ended up rating it a 4 out of 5 stars. So we will see what my mom thinks. I ended up rating this, but I'm not gonna go wake her up in the middle of the night to ask. I wonder if I kind of gave it away because I was like ranting to her about this. I was like, this is such a crazy book for like young adults, but I don't know if she's gonna take that in like a bad way, like I feel passionately about it, in a negative way or a positive way. So that should be interesting. Okay, Mom, so you're going to guess what I rated this book on a scale from 1 to 5. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Do you remember it? You can look
Was
at
it
it.
on the red section with apple? Oh,
Yes.
you were so upset. You probably rated as 2.
Why would I rate a book so low that emotionally moved me? My mom has this delusion that because I was born in the United States, if I cry at something, it means I hate it. Because Americans only like happy endings.
They do. Okay,
Not
you
this one, because I
rated,
was raised by
you
this.
rated 4.
Yes, that's correct. It wasn't like perfect, but it was a lot better than I expected it to be. My mother only likes unhappy endings. Well, to be fair to my mother, sometimes when I'm reading a book and you can tell that they're trying very hard to make you cry, and it's just like trauma porn the entire time. Like The Last Letter, for example. When you're reading a book and you're like, why is every single character dying? You know what I mean? Is that not irritating to you? Or do you like when everybody dies?
Not everybody.
It's like, it doesn't feel realistic at that point, you know what I mean? Like if there's kind of a meeting and it feels realistic and it's like, you know, because life isn't easy. But yeah, this one felt realistic, so. Hi, it's me. I just came here to say this is impeccable stuff. I am only 6 chapters in. I was expecting this to be really sad, like the previous book Skin was, and like kind of all of my mom's picks, to be honest. And it is. Like, it's definitely jarring to hear about this abusive mother who used to be a famous concert pianist, and now she wants her son to follow in her footsteps, but she sees him as like inferior to her in all these ways and like tarnishing her good name or whatever. And I'm shocked that what this boy actually wants to do, like I would expect him to want nothing to do with music after like associating it with this mistreatment for so many years. He wants to be a composer. His name is Beck. He's 16 years old. He's forced to practice like 18 hours a day. He has to wake up at 5 a.m. before school and like do all this crazy shit. And he has a little sister who's I think like 4 years old. She's in preschool. And because he hates his mother so much, he tries to like make up for that by loving his sister twice as much and like making sure she doesn't get caught in the crossfire. But yeah, he wants to be a composer, which surprises me. He does want to still have something to do with music. He just doesn't want to be playing like Chopin all the time. And the voice that this is told in is really interesting because it's not like a devastatingly sad thing, even though you're reading about his mother like slapping him or like dumping coffee on him. Not hot, but like that's humiliating. And he has to go to school like that. He like knows she'll yell at him more if he asks to change before he leaves, but it's like told in this dry humor type of way. It's really interesting. I really like this setup. There's kind of like a romance going on where he meets this girl named August who's in one of his classes, and they have to do this group project together, and she's like consistently trying to get him to meet up with her after school and like work on this. August by Taylor Swift. No, but it's like he's definitely into her. It's all told from his point of view, and it's like devastating that he has this low self-esteem. But yeah, she's a really interesting character. It's kind of giving Manic Pixie Dream Girl, but I'm having fun with it. She like refuses to wear shoes, potentially raised by hippie parents. She's always wearing like blue hemp bracelets and like Save the Whales t-shirts that she like hand prints herself, but it's very cute. I'm just liking where it's going, even if it's got maybe some like cliches or tropes or whatever. A lot of the reviews say it's like incredibly emotional though, so even though it's got this like dry humor sort of telling, I'm preparing myself for it to take some kind of turn. So that's where I am with this. Really enjoying it. This has been my favorite so far, but it could always take a turn, unfortunately. Hi. Okay, if I look like I've been crying, it's because I have, but I have been reading. I actually feel like I'll finish this tonight. It is such a good book. I've just been really emotionally unavailable. I don't even care that it's like Manic Pixie Dream Girl love interest. We are almost done with the book and I already feel happier like talking about something else. I just need a distraction right now. Even though we're almost done with the book, there hasn't even been any kind of like actual romance, like no kiss or anything. August did teasingly say she would kiss Beck or whatever, and he got all overwhelmed because he's like socially struggling because of his family dynamics. Also, the family dynamic, it is escalating. One could say crescendoing. Yeah, it's brutal. It's not like funny anymore. I mean, there's honestly a few like really sad and like profound things that this author uses to describe what's going on. One night it gets really bad and he seeks out August and he goes over to her house for the first time, and that's pretty much all that's happening. That is kind of like a spoiler-free explanation. Beck really wants to compose a song for August, which I think is so sweet. I mean, she kind of was like pushing him like, oh my god, are you gonna write a song for me? Once she finds out he plays classical piano, she's like, oh my god, my mom would love you. Oh, and now he's meeting her mom. Oh my gosh, I hope she tells her that he plays piano. It's very cute, but also so sad. What the hell? It's interesting to find a book that has like a really nice romantic giddy type of love story, but then like these deeper themes running through it as well. But yeah, I hope we see this plot line of the song he's writing for August develop further. He was kind of like composing it in his head as he was falling asleep because he's not allowed to play anything other than like Chopin and all of these classical pieces his mother kind of forces on him. She's like, nobody wants to hear your compositions or anything new. They want to hear these famous classical pieces, which is so crazy because I feel like, especially if he does actually like music and doesn't want to like denounce it completely, despite the fact that you've used it as a tool of abuse his whole life, he still wants to be involved in music and he wants to compose, and he even has impressed a lot of people with his compositions, but like his mother is just not down for it, and it's so sad. Like her legacy could live on even further if her son was not only an amazing pianist but amazing composer. I wish she would have like a change of heart, but like she's a character that feels so irredeemable, you know what I mean? There's moments where it seems kind of like morally gray, or maybe she has some self-aware moments. She was really nice to her daughter who's like 4 up until a few pages ago. She wanted her to start playing piano too, and Beck was like, oh my god, I don't want her to be subjected to the same shit that I am, because Beck is 16 and like older than his sister, and he just feels so protective over her, and he just wants to be able to like give her a better childhood than he had, and he wants to like be able to have a part-time job so he can buy her like chocolate and toys. He's very selfless and also has such low self-esteem. Oh my god, when his mother met August for the first time, she like started clocking her immediately and was like, this girl doesn't like you, she just likes broken things, and like the second you get distracted from your piano studies, she's gonna go find someone else who's broken to go fix, and like hopefully that ends up not being true. I mean, August seems a little bit flat still so far. I mean, she kind of follows that Manic Pixie Dream Girl type of trope. I'm hoping we get a little more from her. I have high hopes. I really do feel like this author is gonna kind of like take it somewhere else. I'm gonna keep reading this because it honestly like makes me feel better. Okay, let's just read. Rough weekend, man. She told them them. He plays the piano as he's eating dinner with her family. Okay, so I ended up finishing 1,000 Perfect Notes last night. Okay, so I typed out some thoughts. So as I said, I loved the setup. And yeah, I did become a little bit emotionally unavailable towards the end. But I do think this does fall somewhere around 3 or 4. I think I'm settling on 3, maybe like 3.5. I love the setup. I didn't mind that it was like a manic pixie dream girl sort of trope. As I said, I liked the whole interesting part with him wanting to continue something music adjacent with composing and like breaking away from his mother's influence. I liked that it was more than just a romance. There was like that terrible family dynamic going on, the relationship with the sister. Honestly, I think his relationship to his sister and how protective he was over her was like the best part of the book. Even though I did like the romance, it's just that manic pixie dream girl thing is hard to like get out of. I thought they would like do something interesting with it at the end, but it's like, that's not completely what I got. No spoilers or anything, but yeah, she just kind of exists as a more flat character. But I think she had a lot of potential. I think there was a lot of potential to utilize her parents because like someone who's that like quirky and strange and hippie, I think seeing what kind of family she grew up in as a like contrast to his family would have been so much more interesting to explore. I was missing kind of that moment of him confiding in like a trusted adult, or even just like August a little bit more. Like I think am I disturbing my cat? Oh my gosh, speak softer. I think like a really cool teacher who he trusted would have been interesting to introduce in this, but I mean the book is only like 200 something pages. It's a short read. I understand wanting to keep it that way, but I just think there could have been a little bit more in terms of character development. Yeah, I would have loved to see him confide in an awesome teacher character, or maybe August's parents, because there was that dinner scene. They were asking questions, kind of. I wanted to see why the maestro, he calls his mother the maestro. I wanted to see why she was the way she was, because she's got this like brother, Beck's uncle, who is also really talented at piano, and he didn't suffer from these like tremors that took away her career in the same way. And like, did her parents like pin them up against each other and have some sort of like sibling competition? Was there like a rivalry? What was her upbringing like? But I guess you can't really have that in a book that's from Beck's point of view, because he's not close with his mother, and his uncle was like estranged for most of the book essentially, and he just like kind of comes around at the end and he's like nice all of a sudden. I just feel like there could have been a lot more there. But yeah, as a reader, I did kind of want to know more of the why behind the mistreatment. I mean, these kind of cycles are generational typically. I do feel like the author did all that she could and should with Joey, the little sister, as I said, and kind of her being a little bit of a violent child, and that stemming back to how she sees their mother treating Beck. These cycles are generational, as I said. That is awful for a child to witness, even though she wasn't receiving the mistreatment. Like, she was the preferred child kind of because she was younger and like she hadn't gotten started on her yet, and Beck was trying to take all of the attention off of her onto him so that he was the only one getting mistreated. So yeah, I think I'm going to end up rating this a 3 out of 5. Not a bad one. And now let's see what my mom guesses that I rated this. I haven't talked to her about this one as much as I did the last book because I just didn't feel as passionately, and I read it much faster. We'll see what her guess is tomorrow. Now my mom is going to guess what I rated the final book, 1,000 Perfect Notes. Take a look. Read the back, do what you need to do.
Did I tell you to read?
Yes, Mom, you told me to read that.
I don't remember.
I even talked about it with you as I was reading it.
Oh, that's piano parent.
The Piano Parent.
So maybe 2.
2? I
Or
rated it
3.
3.5. It was pretty good. It was better than the first one I read, remember the My Dawn one? But not as good as the one you made me read called Skin. Do you remember that one? With the anorexic older sister.
Okay, 2 or 3, yeah.
3 to 4 was what it was.
Okay.
Thank you for helping me with this video. Okay, so quick recap on the books I read in this video. First we have I Will Die in a Foreign Land, a multiple POV book of stories happening concurrently with the Maidan Revolution in 2014 in Ukraine. I ended up rating this one a 3 stars. Would still recommend it. I just don't think the writing style was for me. A little bit too many characters, a little bit too fragmented for me personally, but I feel like you could get a lot out of this book emotionally if you're the right person for this. Next, I read Skin, which I ended up rating a 4 out of 5. I was really impressed with this one. It reminded me of The Perks of Being a Wallflower. It had a very simple YA voice, but it was effective. There were really simple, profound statements on grief and family dynamics that were like child or teen friendly, I guess, but just as effective for an adult audience. And next we have 1,000 Perfect Notes, which I really enjoyed the setup and everything and ended up kind of rating a 3.5, but since Goodreads doesn't have half stars, I went with 3. Despite the manic pixie dream girl trope I liked a lot about this book, I just kind of wish there was more. Like I wish there was a little more exploration into the characters. The writing style was great and the book went by fast, so I don't think it would have suffered by adding another like 100 pages onto it or anything. Another really great book, and that comes to the end of this reading vlog of my mom choosing my reads. Also, I read Dead Poets Society. The movie is better from my memory. I haven't watched it in like 10 years probably. I really want to rewatch it, especially because my mom wants to see it. The movie was better. I miss Robin Williams, and also it could have been gayer. And with that, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. If you want to follow me on my Instagram, it is right here. And if you want to follow me on my TikTok, that is right here. I will see you all next week for another video, and I hope you have an amazing day. Bye everyone.